The following is a production of WEGL 91.1 FM.
That ball is gone. It's a walk-off home run for Stephen Williams.
WEGL Sports,
The Tigers are headed to the College World Series.
where every
Touchdown Auburn! Zakoby McClain!
game
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
lives. And welcome inside the Wednesday edition of the Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com. Hello, everybody. It is your beautiful, handsome, stunning, talented, award-winning, did I mention award-winning host, Jared Dillon. And joining me from wherever it may be is Davis Carroll and Alex Houston. Alex, I'm going to start with you first today. I want to know how you're doing on this Wednesday morning.
I mean, look, I'm not going to lie to you, Jared. The week has not been pretty great. It's been a rough one in terms of schoolwork, in terms of, what I got to do.
All right, I didn't want to be depressed. Shut up. I don't want to be depressed.
However, I'm getting to a positive. Give me a second. Every day that passes is one day closer to Thanksgiving and one more day that I get more excited. So,
Every day that passes
is positive in that regard.
Every day that passes is one more toward death. I hear that, brother.
No,
Davis.
No. What?
How about you, Davis? How about you?
I'm just chilling. I stayed up late playing Kingdom Come Deliverance last night, so I'm a little tired. But
How was that
I was
game?
having fun. I was fighting knights and stuff with swords.
Well,
You should get it, Jared. It's fun.
we already had a discussion. I can't get
Dude?
into it right now.
Oh,
I have a lot of important work to get through.
yeah, like Valhalla. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, here's Jacob. So let me get Jacob in here, and we can ask him some questions.
Jacob.
He's back.
Hello, Jacob. How are you doing on this fine morning? I gotta give him a second.
How about you guys?
My audio is connected now.
Okay. How are you doing on this fine morning?
I'm doing great. Ready for the week to be over.
I feel that. I know that personally, I got to get through the next 2 days of Auburn volleyball, which is tough. But hey, Auburn volleyball dub is happening. You heard it here first. They're gonna beat Tennessee. I think Tennessee's ranked too. They're gonna beat Tennessee. All right. So just stay tuned for that.
It feels like every team that Auburn's played in volleyball has been ranked except Auburn, which makes me think that is like the entire SEC good at volleyball except Auburn.
Auburn just has the third toughest schedule in the country.
Oh, okay.
They do have a very tough schedule.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until yesterday they only won one set so far this season. So that's
Oh my gosh.
that is the definition of a tough scene. Technically, could it be worse? Sure, they could win none, but it's close. It is definitely close. But they'll get a big win tonight. I am sure of it. They're on the network, bright lights, everything. Wednesday night volleyball. There's no better time for volleyball than Wednesday night. I want you guys to know that. So on the show today, opening up with the NBA news and the draft is tonight as well. Some Major League Baseball news, and then heading over to college football and the NFL. But first, I want to open up with something that I personally experienced only a couple of hours ago. Alright, so late last night, I popped some pills. Not pills, melatonin. I don't want to think
Melatonin.
I don't want you to think that I'm a drug addict or something like that. But I popped
Like
some
Alex.
melatonin. Yeah. I popped some melatonin, and I went to sleep. And I woke up at like 4 a.m. Eastern time, so 3 Central your time. And I decided, all right, let me clean up everything for the show today. So I went, I did the rundown, I changed all the games, yada yada. Obviously, because I need something on in the background to keep my attention going, I turned on the TV, and I watched two different things. I watched Korean baseball. They're in their World Series, the Korean series right now. I watched about 10 minutes of that. But then my eyes turned to National League Rugby. that was going on. All right, and let me tell you something. I saw things that I did not think I would see at 4:30 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. Okay, I saw somebody get their pants pulled down. I saw everything. It was, it was. These are not for kids. Do not watch this for your children. I want you to know this. I saw somebody get a bloody nose. I saw somebody get their pants pulled down. I saw things I wasn't supposed to see. So Fox Sports 1, I don't know what's going on, but keep it up. You're doing an amazing job. So that's what I went through. Queensland won, by the way, if you want to know. Every time they scored, they had like flames come up from the crowd. It was amazing. And I figured out how rugby works in like 20 minutes. So if you need any rugby insight, I'm your guy.
Jared, you should watch Finnish Baseball and try to figure that out.
That didn't seem like an actual thing.
It is. I was watching a video about it. It's like theirs is like really different because one time some Americans went over there and taught them baseball, but before they could finish teaching it, they left. So they just taught themselves the rest, and it's like off the wall.
It's in like college classes.
It is crazy. Like if you hit it far enough, it's like it's weird.
Well, you can't just leave that up in the air. What happens if you hit it far enough?
Well, you get like a home run. You have to go out the park. If you hit it far enough, it's crazy.
Are you saying there's no walls?
No.
Just playing open field.
I'll send
or
you a
something?
video later. It's crazy.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. But yes, National League Rugby, Korean baseball. It's amazing. Let's go over to the NBA. A lot of things happen in NBA.
Yeah.
Some of it pertaining to the Bucks. Some of it pertaining to the Suns. I'll start with the Suns first. Chris
Also,
Paul.
the Warriors and Bulls are in the headlines right now about Wendell Carter.
I know. I saw. And there's a lot of NBA news moving around right now. I guess the biggest ones was first, the Suns getting CP3 from the Thunder. So the 10-time All-Star moving over to Phoenix. He's just, I guess he's just in the journeyman part of his career now because he's just all over the place. The Bucks made some big money moves as they got Drew Holiday, and then on top of that, they got Bogdanovich, correct?
Bojan Bogdanovich, yes.
From the Kings in a sign and trade with the Kings. The Rockets are still currently imploding. The ship is going down. It's like the Titanic at this point. They've hit the iceberg. We just don't know how long it's going to take and how many lifeboats there are. But it looks like Westbrook and Harden will be on their way out. However, the Rockets did say that they are not going to just give them away for nothing. That they'll even start the season with them if they need to. But they're going to get the right price. So
The Thunder getting all the Rockets' first-round picks is looking rather genius right now because even if the Clippers and other teams that have their first-round picks are good, they're still. I mean, I feel like if the Rockets do really blow it up, they're going to be a top 15 pick every year that the Thunder had that pick. So,
of course. And
There's a you go, Jared.
no, you go ahead.
There's a conspiracy about the Thunder
conspiracy.
trade, by the way.
Well, what's the conspiracy? I'm all in. I'm already
It's
in.
that they've already had it planned for months now. Because on Snapchat, they posted on their story. I saw a TikTok about this. They posted for welcoming welcome Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre and in their new Thunder uniforms. And it said 2 months ago from camera roll for each of the pictures.
That could have been edited.
I don't think it was, Jared.
If Jared's not immediately bought into it, then it's edited.
Yeah.
But-
If I didn't buy into it,
I'll do my own investigation right now then.
Go ahead, Davis.
You go ahead. Also, am I the only one that thinks the Chris Paul trade for the Suns was a bad trade?
2 months ago, it's real.
Davis.
that could be edited, bro.
It.
Look, even I could do that on Photoshop.
I'm on Snapchat.
Davis is like, here's a picture of Giannis in a Heat jersey. It's real. He's on the Heat. No, Davis.
Not even close to the same. It's literally on Snapchat. It says 2 months ago from camera roll.
Now, did you get that from their actual Snapchat?
Yes, I'm
Or
on their Snapchat.
or from a video that somebody posted?
I'm actually on their Snapchat right now. You can look
Okay,
it up yourself. Look up OKC Thunder. Alex trying to get on my back about the Giannis says he's in a Heat uniform.
I don't think Alex sounds like that, but I like it.
I definitely don't.
Look, you can look up Thunder, and it's 2 months ago from camera roll for all of them. Ty Jerome, Kelly Oubre, and every single one of them. They've had this
Rome double
plan.
dribbled.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I lost my phone, so we're going to have to wait for that one.
that's Alrighty then.
Don't sleep on Jalen LeCue though. He's gonna pop off at the Thunder.
So CP3 to the Suns. I mean, is it a bad trade? I mean,
Yes.
No,
I think it's a bad trade.
I don't think so.
I mean, okay, look. So
I have my opinion on it, but I'll let you go first.
the CP3 is 35 years old, right? I think it's safe to say he'll retire by the time he's 40, right?
I mean, that's a safe.
I don't
bet.
think he's going to play past that. What?
That's a safe bet. Sure, yeah.
Okay, so will the Suns win an NBA championship in 5 years?
Unless
They don't necessarily have to win the NBA championship to have succeeded.
Unless shut up,
Trade.
Alexa. Shut up, Alexa. Shut up, Alexa.
You're saying
Unless-
shut up, Alexa, because you're saying it again.
Unless 2020 Part 2 Electric Boogaloo happens, and no, the Suns are not winning NBA title.
Okay, so the Suns are not going to win a championship with Chris Paul there. So 5 years from now, Chris Paul is gone, retired. Devin Booker's in the prime of his career, 29 years old. He's only 24. He just turned 24 in October, actually. So then what is the point of it? Because you trade away Ricky Rubio, who had the best or one of the best shooting seasons of his career with the Suns last year. He's only 30 years old. Again, Ricky Rubio is not Chris Paul, but he's only 30, and he'll probably play a little bit longer. And then you trade away Kelly Oubre Jr., who is coming off the best season of his career by far, and is only 24, going to be 25 years old this December. So really, is it worth it if you're not going to win a championship?
You don't necessarily have to win a championship.
Chris Paul.
Well, I mean,
Chris Paul brings something that
Yes.
stats don't show.
He makes you win more games. And by that, you win more games. More people want to come to your team.
Well,
does he really
I
have
was gonna,
that?
I was gonna
that
say
He brought
that
the Thunder to the 7th seed or the 6th
That's
seed.
true, but let's not forget.
No.
that
He can do it with the Suns. They have a good team, and they just needed that point guard, and now they have it. Ricky Rubio was good, but he was not that leader role that they needed.
that is true. However, I mean, the Suns were already on their way to being a 7th or a 6th seed as it was. DeAndre Ayton
But
got
they weren't.
suspended for half
But they
the-
weren't. Chris Paul turned that Thunder team around in one season.
So wait, you're telling me the Suns were not going to be a 7th or 8th seed in a year or two?
In a year, no, I'm not saying they wouldn't be in a year or two, but they could be now this year because they
They
have
might have
Chris
been
Paul.
this year anyway. Let's not forget DeAndre Ayton did not play half of last season.
But now they might even be a better team than they would be with Ricky Rubio and Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio were good, but they weren't going to get them. They were not going to be the pieces to get them into the, far in the playoffs.
Chris
Yeah,
Paul
I
does.
mean, I-
Chris Paul brings an unprecedented level of leadership to the
My
Suns.
point is that even if okay, so you say that Rubio and Kelly Oubre Jr. are not the people to get them far in the playoffs. I mean, I still don't think the Suns are going to ever make it past the first round.
Look, if George Hill's replaceable for the Bucks, then Ricky Rubio is very replaceable for the Suns.
The point really was more Kelly Oubre Jr. because again, he's only 25 and he had the best season of his career and he's gotten better every year.
Kelly Oubre's good, but even then, he's not the person. He's a role player. He's not the person that you want to focus your team around.
It's not about focusing the team around. The focus is obviously.
I'm just saying you can replace Kelly Oubre. I'm not saying he's your star player. I'm saying he's not your star player. It's okay to have traded him. I
mean,
like Kelly Oubre. He's good for their team.
replace his production.
But you can bring up Mikal Bridges can get more minutes in his place.
There's okay. I think that there was an opportunity there to build a team around Devin Booker to be good in 4 years and not because the Chris Paul move is like a win now move, but they're not going to win now.
That I'm also saying if they don't win now, then they're going to get better and they'll be a better free agent spot.
I don't know.
It's a little more nuanced than win now.
But
Same thing with the Giannis situation.
The Suns were nowhere near win now. So I mean, it was pretty much what can we do to get better now, to set up a situation where we'll be better off in the future. And having Chris Paul in a leadership position and hopefully attracting a little bit more free agency around him, having a decent pick in the draft, and all these young players who will be mentored by Chris Paul now should benefit the Suns in the long run. I say should. You never know these days.
Yeah, you saw what Chris Paul did with the Thunder, and the Suns are a better core than the Thunder. One could say.
I mean, the Thunder. I mean, we made fun of the Thunder. Not we, but the general consensus of the Thunder before the season began was who it is. Bunch of quilted together players on this team, and then they got to the playoffs.
Well,
And they
yeah, but
looked
with the
good
Thunder,
doing
the
it.
situation was also different where Chris Paul could take over and be that guy on the team. This team, I mean, if it comes down to any moment in the game, do you want the ball in Chris Paul's hands over Devin Booker or DeAndre Ayton for that matter?
I don't think Chris Paul really cares as long as he gets to
Yeah.
win.
No, I'm not saying he cares. I'm saying that the reason the Thunder worked is because it was really.
And it's good. It's good to have more than one player that you can defer to.
That's true. I'm saying the reason the Thunder worked is because it really was a system of role players surrounding him, and that's why it worked.
Is that why it worked though?
I think that's part of the reason it ended up working. I think part of the reason
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's not really a role player. Steven Adams not really a role player. Danilo Gallinari's not really a role
you
player.
just called Kelly Oubre Jr. a role player. If he's a role player, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's also.
I just said you could call him a role player.
Then you could call Shea Gilgeous-Alexander a role player.
We can call the whole Thunder organization role players. It doesn't really change the
wouldn't you,
fact
David?
of what happened.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's better than Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre Jr. had 20 points a game last year on 48% shooting.
Kiki Vandeweghe had 30 points a game one year. Points don't matter to me.
Points don't matter.
I could go out there and with the right system, I'm not saying me, just a random player can go out there and drop 20, 15 a game. Just because you said yourself, points aren't the best indicator of a star player.
But I mean, in difference between a role player versus one that isn't, I think Kelly Oubre Jr.
Shea Gilgeous scored 15.
Okay. So
And
one is a role player and one is not.
well, you're talking about the whole team working together as like a passing it around. He's obviously not going to score 20. Kelly Oubre and Devin Booker were like the two main scorers on the team.
Are you two done yet?
Possibly.
Alex is just saying crazy stuff.
I want to move to the Bucks at some point.
Oh boy.
Alex, if you get started on something crazy on the Bucks, then I'll really tear you a new one.
I mean, if Giannis leaves, that's the worst trade of the last 10 years, but that's a whole separate debate for another time.
Well, the thought was, will the Bucks go all in to build a team around Giannis and keep him there? It looks like they're going all in because they got Drew Holiday, they got a sign and trade with the Kings for Bogdanovich. It looks like they're going all in. Rest in peace to Eric Bledsoe, as he's on his way to the. Wait, is he going to the Kings or which team is he going to? Pelicans. Rest in peace, Eric Bledsoe.
Dante DiVincenzo's going to the Kings.
Which the vibe I got from a lot of Bucks fans, at least on social media, is that one hurt them the most.
That one did hurt. Dante DiVincenzo's one of the better young players we had.
But the Bucks are going all in, which I think at the end of the day, that's all Bucks fans wanted was, we're gonna try. Now, Davis, you did bring up a very good point that the Bucks have currently, 7 players on their roster, I believe, and they're already at the cap space or near it. They're nearing it, so not great cap situation. But
Giannis has bird rights if he resigns, so there's that.
So hopefully the Bucks are able to find some good. They can find something out there in free
There are
agency.
some decent players out there you could get for cheap. Patty Mills is out there, Jeff Green, Avery Bradley might be able to be lured away. Maybe Rajon Rondo. I doubt him though. I mean, there's some good players you can snag. We still have Robin Lopez and Wesley Matthews we can bring back on maybe potentially cheaper contracts. Wesley Matthews is probably going to be hard because the Lakers are gunning for him right now. I mean, I think it's possible. It's just our bench isn't going to be near as good as it was last year. We can bring back Pat Connaughton as well. I feel like he'll come back for cheap.
Well, this is do or die for the Bucks at this point.
It's probably the best team we've had in a while on paper.
Well, here's hoping.
I feel like it's not going to work unless Budenholzer makes an adjustment to his mindset per se.
I feel like he will after these trade for Drew Holiday and Bojan.
I'm saying I think he will, and I think he should. I'm saying, but if he doesn't, I think that's the issue because I remember in the playoffs, starters were getting 35 minutes a game, which at this point, when your starters are that by comparison to your bench, which is significantly lacking now, I mean, at this point, play your starters 40 minutes a game. Why don't you?
We also hired 2 new assistant coaches as well.
Who needs a bench when you have the starting lineup that the Bucks have? Just play them for 48 minutes and call it a bench.
Bojan might be coming off the bench. Like I could see that happening everyone for a good bit of the season. I doubt he will though.
Either way, the Bucks are going all in as the Rockets continue to go on a downward trend. Just think the Rockets, I mean, look, I know it's frustrating to get to a certain point in the playoffs every year and keep losing, especially in the West, because the West is tough. But man, did they blow it up for what looks like at this point to be no apparent reason. I mean, yikes. I mean, that franchise got set back so many years now. And, I mean, hopefully from these trades, I don't know, maybe they can come up with the OKC situation where they get a lot of these, guys on the team and they can patch something together. But, man, it's not looking good for the Rockets right now.
I mean, they very much did what I was mentioning earlier with the Suns, where they were like, all right, are we going to win right now? And then they were like, no, we're not. So they just decided to immediately implode it, which that may have been a worse idea because there may have been a chance to win now, but they messed it up on the way. So now they're like, all right, we backed ourselves into a corner. Time to just blow it up times 30.
Well,
Is that their fault, or I thought Russell Westbrook and James Harden were just like, now we want out? Because I mean, at that point, you can't really do much as an organization.
it looked as though that they were going to try to retool the team around them, make a couple of changes, but the moment they fired Morley, who went over to the Sixers or wherever he went to these days.
He said the Sixers, yeah.
They wanted out because they didn't feel the franchise was stable enough. So the Rockets made too many changes that their superstars started feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and they said, all right, we want out because this doesn't look good. The writing on the wall situation,
James Harden's calling cap, though.
He says it's not true?
No.
He posts on his stories where he takes off a bottle cap and he zooms in on it.
Okay,
This is
well.
no cap. He's saying
He
no
called
cap.
cap.
He's saying no cap.
Or he can say, or he zoomed in on the cap, bro.
But he removed the cap.
That's true. But they could just think he was focused on the water if he kept the cap on.
All right, can we stop focusing on the cap at this point?
The duality of it, what it can mean.
The duality of man, something.
Yes.
Look, point being is that these two guys are probably going to be leaving at some point. Whether that's the start of the season. Trades can be finalized, after the draft? That's when all these things are actually going through. So just keep that in mind. That I don't know if something's going to big happen today, but maybe something down the line will happen with these two. I do know that, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. I'm looking up here. I didn't write it down, but the Hawks were discussed in a trade as well, but I can't remember what it was. It was with somebody, to get somebody.
I think it was the last guy that the Bucks traded for.
Bogdanovich.
Yes. But there was really no chance because the Bucks were able to say, well, you get to play with Giannis, and that was enough.
I'm trying to... The Hawks were involved in something.
They're trying to get Gordon Hayward right now.
That's what it was. It was Gordon Hayward from the Celtics.
Also,
which I thought was interesting.
The Celtics offered Gordon Hayward 3 first-round picks for Drew Holiday. So there's that.
It says the Atlanta Hawks are in play to acquire Boston Celtics forward Gordon Hayward, according to Yahoo sources.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that.
I don't either.
I guess it really depends on what Atlanta gives up. Only a few people are untouchable in Atlanta, Trae Young being the best one. Trae Young and that sloth that he has around his waist now that I saw in a commercial. But that's neither here nor there.
You got a sloth?
It's for a commercial for a movie, but the sloth looks pretty cool. So, I mean, if he's dropping triple doubles with a sloth on his side, I mean, sign the sloth too.
I will say if the Hawks do get Gordon Hayward and they stay healthy, I think they're a playoff team.
It says also that the Hawks are expected to receive the Hawks are expected to go end on Rajon Rondo as well.
Ew.
So
I found that an odd interest on their part.
See, I'm kind of afraid the Hawks are going to do some dumb moves just to try and make the playoffs this year.
How did the Hawks only win 20 games last year?
Well, first thing first to happen in the beginning of the season, one of their players got popped. That didn't help.
Oh, right, John Collins, right?
John Collins got popped for 25 games, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
And then I think Trey Young ended up getting sidelined for a little bit with an injury.
Did they just wait? Don't they have Clint Capella?
Yes.
They
Did he
do.
just not play last year?
I think
I
they
think-
traded
I don't-
for him mid-season.
Yeah.
Because he
So-
didn't appear to have any.
It was like the Hawks were like in the same situation as. Let's see if I can give a good comparison. The Hawks were always looked like they were one step away from getting back in the groove of it, and then something happened, and then that's kind of how the season went
I
for
see.
the Hawks in general. So I think they're a decent team, and really, I mean, exciting thing that the draft happens tonight because people are wondering where the Hawks are going to go in the draft. Who's going to be paired with Trey Young with their lottery pick, or do they move back in the lottery? Nobody really knows.
Or
We want Isaac.
they're not going to, but they should take him.
And then on top of that, we do have the news from Bleacher Report about 30 minutes ago that the Warriors have discussed moving back from 2 to 4 with the Bulls, and the Bulls will be giving them the 4th pick and Wendell Carter Jr. And I got to assume the Bulls are moving up because either they really want James Wiseman, who have been projected going to the Warriors for a long time, or maybe they really want to go in on LaMelo Ball.
They're not
Who
getting
knows?
Buffalo.
They can
But-
even get Avija. They might even go after him or something.
Well, it looked like, according to the draft, the mock drafts that I look at, is that Avija was going to fall to them anyway. Now, you never know how things on the inside goes, but it's kind of the top 4 kind of shook up a little bit when LaMelo fell back to 3 to the Hornets, so I don't really know. But speaking of the NBA draft, it is tonight at, what is it?
7 Eastern.
7
6
Eastern,
Central.
6 Central? Oh, that sucks.
Did
I'm
y'all
pretty
see
sure.
it?
Yeah, that's probably when coverage starts.
Okay.
You probably don't want to watch it at that time.
Did y'all see
Well-
what Anthony Edwards said in an interview?
Yes.
What'd he
You
say?
did, Jacob?
Oh
What'd
yeah.
he say?
The-
What'd he say?
All right,
so
I'll
funny.
read it off. I got the whole thing right up here. So he says at the beginning, he says, "To be honest, I can't watch basketball."
Fair.
And he retells the story about the first time he dunked and how it signaled to him that he was talented and could accomplish something he might not have been able to in football, which was his first love. And he said, "That's all I needed to see. I'm still not really into it. I love basketball, yeah. It's what I do." He's not entirely convincing. He says if he were drafted by the NFL tomorrow, he'd let basketball go because you can do anything on the field. You can spike the ball, you can dance, you can do all type of disrespectful stuff. In the NBA, you can't do any of that. You'll get fined. And he then goes on to say that he's an aspiring rapper. He already recorded a few tracks with his older brother. So like Damian Lillard question mark, but I really can rap. Dame talking
What?
about, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm rapping like Lil Baby. That's what he said. That's the whole quote. The
Yeah.
whole interview.
All right, Alex, you read that on the website, right?
I read.
I want
mean,
you to look at that URL link. Does this say The Onion on it?
First of all,
No.
it's from Twitter, so
That's
It's
even
real.
worse.
Because they followed up 2 weeks later, and it was because this was I think it was a while back, but he followed it up during the NBA Finals, and then he changed his tune where he was hoping that the Lakers would sweep so that the NBA draft would happen quicker because he wants to get it over with. But he was saying it in a way just because he's nervous and stuff. Like his agent saw what he said and was like, "What are you doing?"
This guy's gonna be a trip, isn't he?
And they hated
That
on
was
Dame
like
Lillard's
hell of a
rapping.
quote.
I already felt like I was going crazy not being sold on Anthony Edwards already, and now the fact that he doesn't even seem to like basketball that much.
Hey, I don't like basketball, but I'll be drafted first overall. I mean,
Well, I mean, yeah,
what's
but
the worst that could happen?
Jared, if you didn't like basketball as much as he did, and playing 82 games a year is probably not the most ideal.
Hey, when you make money, does it matter at that point?
I was gonna say.
I mean, everybody hates their 9-to-5 desk job, but if it makes good money,
For a lot of people, people think that, but I think something we've learned in the past few years is that athletes are not immune to having, issues with their career no matter how much money they make. They're not immune to, having
fair.
issues in life anyway.
that's
Well,
fair.
that's what in golf. That's what Brooks Koepka acts like. He acts like he just doesn't care about golf and he never practices and stuff. But honestly, I don't think it's true. I think he's playing up
It's his
Character.
brand.
that personality,
Yeah.
and he just seems like a meathead. And I think Anthony Edwards might be kind of doing that, where he's got that personality. Like, man, this guy's so good at basketball, but he doesn't even like it. But I don't know.
He's edgy. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
it
gonna
is very
sell.
edgy.
It's gonna sell like hotcakes. So speaking of that mock draft, Anthony Edwards is projected to go number 1. This is via ESPN's. I'm sorry. Let me get his exact name. ESPN Jonathan Givney, I believe. As they get ready for the mock draft, Anthony Edwards number 1 to the Wolves. That changed maybe a couple of weeks ago, as LaMelo kind of fell backwards. I think Anthony Edwards is kind of the better full package, and the Wolves really do like him.
CBS Sports disagrees.
What does CBS Sports say?
They have LaMelo first. This was an hour ago.
Oh, well.
I don't agree with that personally.
Our,
I don't think this draft class is that deep, honestly.
No, it's not good.
Compared
That's
to
not
what everybody has been saying, at least the consensus is that it's not that amazing.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's the only reason that Okoro is a lottery pick, and that's not a knock on Okoro. It's just he hasn't been able to show enough. But that's my opinion on it.
The Knicks just made a trade.
James Wiseman has been talking about going to the Warriors from everybody for the past since the Warriors got the number 2 pick. So that seems like it may be a lock. What, Alex?
The Knicks just traded the number 27th and number 38 picks to move up to take the Jazz number 23 pick. They now have the 8th and 23rd picks in the draft. So,
Let's see. So how will the Knicks mess this up somehow?
That is yeah, but I say that's the transition. But I just wanted to read that up because I just saw it.
Let's see. Well, the Knicks in this mock draft are projected to take Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Well,
So
that's just guessing what the Knicks are thinking.
that's
True. But if they
Nobody
do get
knows.
him, that'd be a good pick for him. I like that.
James Dolan is the worst owner in sports. So
And, he's probably thinking something smart right now, but he's going to just completely screw it up by tomorrow or tonight.
So staying with this mock draft, and Davis, the CBS one may say something different, but number 3, LaMelo Ball to the Hornets, number 4, Advija to the Bulls, and 5, Obi Toppin, who's been talked about a lot from Dayton, to the Cavs. Now, if we get outside of that, that's going to kind of the big ones that we're worried about, which are the Hawks, Mavericks, and where Okoro is going. Number 6, Atlanta Hawks. And this one, Okongwu from USC, I believe. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
The Hawks would be getting him. Okoro, I've not seen any mock draft where Okoro is going anywhere other than the Wizards.
Yeah.
This one has him going to the Pistons.
Okay, well. I'd rather the Wizards than the Pistons. Speaking of the Wizards, there was a small little rumor about a Russell Westbrook, John Wall trade from the Rockets to the Wizards, but I don't know how much water that has.
John Wall he's apparently confused why they're building a team around Bradley Beal, but I mean, he did slip in his own house and tear his Achilles, so I don't know what they expect.
I'm about to say he hasn't played like more than 10 games in 2 years.
The John Wall situation
I don't know what he
is so
wants him
sad.
to do.
Is he supposed to play this year?
Yes, he's finally back, barring any bizarre
I don't
injury and
believe
his
that.
slipping on water in his home.
I don't believe that. Until John Wall is back on that court, I don't believe it.
Do you think what do you think he was
Let's
thinking
see,
when he
the
like
last
tore
time he
his
played a
Achilles
game.
in his home? Do you think he was like,
All
well,
right.
I
One
messed up.
person at a time. When he tore the Achilles in his home,
what do you think he was thinking? Like what went through his mind?
I assume he laid there on the kitchen floor for about 10 minutes just wondering what he's going to do next.
He's like, I should have wiped with that water.
I
He
mean,
last played a game on December 26th of 2018. Jeez.
well, Merry Christmas, I
That's
guess.
insane.
He got hurt that game.
Oh yeah, he did.
Let's see. Other notable players in this mock draft. Number 13, Kira Lewis Jr. from Alabama going to the Pelicans.
He is trending up like crazy.
He really is. I saw like last week that I guess the Mavericks wanted to trade up for him, and then he just shot up near that top 12 spot. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Anybody else? Not really. I mean, the Mavericks, obviously, they're going after a foreign player, it looks like. But apparently, the Mavericks have also talked about trading the 18th pick to the Clippers for Lou Williams and some other things. So I'll be keeping that in mind. I don't know if this mock draft goes into the second round. Oh, it does go into the second round. Let's see. Second round, Mavericks, who have the first pick in the second round, Robert Woodard II from Mississippi State. I really don't remember him at all. I'm trying to see if there's any Auburn players that
I don't think you're going to see any Auburn players in the second round.
Look, a man can dream. A man can dream.
Wiley and Dowdy have the slimmest of chances, but I don't think without a real combine and real interviews, they're going to be able to get picked. They'll get picked in the G League, but
they're going to go the Bryce and Jared route at this point.
Yeah, I don't see any Auburn players on here. I do see the Hawks with the 50th pick. Kenyon Martin Jr. from IMG Academy. I really can't tell you much about him at all. But, yeah, those are kind of the big ones right there. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it for the NBA draft. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Sometimes there's some surprises. Sometimes they're just duds. And, hey, look on the bright side. We get to see the Knicks screw up again. That's always fun.
That'll be good.
So, going on to some quick baseball news. The biggest one being Theo Epstein stepping down from the Cubs after 9 seasons. As the Cubs are...
Can you explain why he did that?
Well, from what I've understood, is that he has this mindset of not being there, or not being in one position for more than a decade. So it kind of seemed like he was on his way out eventually anyway.
That's weird.
He said it a couple years ago in a press conference, you know. I don't want to be in one position too long. So apparently this was going to happen either way. But he stepped away. He said he doesn't imagine himself getting back into baseball somewhere. Where that is, nobody really knows. But, I mean, the way the Cubs worked, any team would be lucky to have him at that point. I mean, heck, I'd take him from the Cardinals because they don't know what they're doing right now. To be fair enough. Bellinger and Clevenger, which go together at this point, both had shoulder surgeries. Clevenger got re-signed by the Padres. He had shoulder surgery. And Bellinger, who famously popped out his shoulder out of cuff during the World Series, also had shoulder surgery. That's pretty much all the baseball news that I have. Unless you really want to go really in-depth on the Korean Baseball League.
I'm not exactly planning on it.
I'll do a deep dive, Jared.
I would almost love to hear about the Korean Baseball League.
I watched 10 minutes and I saw a home run. That's pretty much it.
Wow.
That was the deep dive.
How crazy was the bat flip?
There wasn't really even a bat flip, to be quite honest.
That's disappointing.
He kind of just... He swung that thing. Like, he went down to his knee to get that one up into the stands. Other than that, I mean, it was normal baseball. They had... I half expected that when I turned it on, that the commentators wouldn't be speaking English, but I guess ESPN put English broadcasters somewhere. Not there, but probably in the studio to cover the game. Because the game was on ESPN
was it
too.
not Tom Hart?
I don't know who it was, to be quite honest.
He's been doing a lot of Korean baseball, so.
The game was on ESPN 2. It started at 4:25 a.m. And I don't even know who won the game, to be quite honest. But I believe the Dinos were leading 3-1 on that home run.
Doosan Bears won.
Did they?
5-4.
Oh, dang. So that means... Wait, no. Hold up. I maybe got that backwards. Is the series 1-1 now?
Yes.
Okay, so the Bears were leading 3-1, I believe. And then they ended up winning. Because whoever was winning the series was losing that game at that point. Look, the point is, make sure you wake up early in the morning for some for the Korean League, the Korean series, okay? Just do that. If you want some more baseball, there it is. That's pretty much all the baseball that I had. Going on to college football news. Trevor Lawrence is back for Clemson. He says that he feels just as good as he did when he before he got the virus. So that's good news for Clemson. The South Carolina fallout's continuing to happen after Muschamp was fired after 5 seasons, going 28-30. Multiple South Carolina players have opted out of the season and have declared for the NBA draft, the NFL draft, and they're getting ready for that. So South Carolina is having not a mass exodus, but they're definitely not having the best of times right now.
They're gonna finish the year 2-8, and Auburn will be one of those wins.
Well, you hate to see it, don't you?
Yes, actually.
Look on the bright side. You know, I was looking at college football, and I ended up looking at the standings. I also want to mention that there are still a couple of canceled and postponed games. I believe there's one postponed game yesterday between Ohio and Miami, and then on Friday, UAB's game against UTEP got canceled as well. Ole Miss and A&M's postponed. Arizona State and Colorado is canceled. Wake Forest, Duke, and Charlotte Marshall are also postponed. UL Monroe, Louisiana Tech is canceled, and Georgia Tech Miami is postponed. So the number of games that are being postponed and canceled is starting to rise again this week. So keep that in mind as this week goes along. That some games that we'll be picking probably get postponed again. So yeah. Not great.
Hopefully that'll change in the next few weeks whenever everyone recovers from all the Halloween parties they went to.
That's true. But then there's Thanksgiving, so I don't know how Thanksgiving mixes in with everything. I assume the players won't be going home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, you have Thanksgiving Thursday and you have a game on Saturday. I don't think they ever go home for Thanksgiving.
If there was ever a time that I was glad, at least from a sports perspective, that players were not able to see their families, I guess this is it. That's kind of sad when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
But
bowl season's going to be chaos.
Bowl season's going to be something.
Because I bet they will be able to go home. Well, I don't know, with the season ending so late.
And I mean, I do know that, is it today that the college football playoff committee's meeting today, discussing whether or not to push back releasing the top 25 because of Larry Scott in the Pac-12 saying we need more time?
I have no idea, but that sounds like something that would be happening.
I need to double check that. But yes, pretty much the story was that they were really... The Pac-12 was trying to push back when they would meet. So here we go. Here it is. The College Football Playoff Management Committee will meet tomorrow afternoon, where sources say they'll be formally discussing delaying the 2021 event at the request of Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott. So this is the event, not the
rankings. Yeah, no, that makes sense because they are having so many cancellations, and they, like the Big Ten, they're canceling them. They're not rescheduling like the SEC or ACC has. So, and that's their fault because they waited so long to play, and they didn't really build anything in to allow them any room. I don't think Pac-12 had any wiggle room, whereas the Big Ten did. So
that's what I was thinking. I thought it was very odd how everybody's solution to the COVID season was, let's wait longer and hope it all goes away. But now it is just giving them less room to, cancel and postpone games.
Well, the Pac-12, I was saying the Pac-12 was just doing what the Big Ten did. Literally, that's all they did. And then the Big Ten doesn't care what the Pac-12 does. So it's not like they're telling them what they're going to do. So when the Big Ten said, hey, we're playing, the Pac-12 was like, well, crap, we have to play now. And it took them a week.
It's like when the Big Ten said we're not going to play, and the Pac-12 literally maybe 12 hours later was like...
Not even 12 hours. I remember that because I remember that day. I thought that was going to be because I thought all Power Five conferences were going to do it because I thought it was going to be comparable to the Rudy Gobert day, but
Yes.
it wasn't.
Ground zero.
Pac-12 doesn't even feel like a Power 5 conference. Like, they don't act like one. Their conference champion is routinely like 8-4.
When was the last time they had a playoff team?
2016.
Oregon?
Yeah,
Oregon?
Was Oregon 2016?
No, that was Washington.
Washington.
Browning.
Oh.
And then they got
They got obliterated. That's probably why I don't remember them.
Actually, the game was actually a lot closer than the score.
yeah.
What
But
was that Washington, Alabama?
Yep, 24-7.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, they don't act like one, and they don't. They just like, I mean, like really, like what is like keeping that conference Power 5? The fact that people have been waiting for USC to not be bad forever.
Other sports, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a powerhouse in baseball. You don't mess with Pac-12 schools in baseball.
Like, because, you look at the Big Ten, and even like, routinely lower level teams like Iowa are still better than half the Pac-12.
It's different. That's the Iowa football.
I know.
It's just a different breed. They just built different,
They just built different in Iowa. I know, Jared. I know.
By the way, the Ringer says that Michael Jordan has given the, quote, stamp of approval for the Hornets to draft LaMelo Ball.
It's confirmed that LaMelo's a bum if it's okay for the Hornets to draft.
And so, just so you know, that CBS 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central game that's usually SEC that had A&M in there, hey, no longer an SEC game this week. You know why? Because you're going to be watching San Diego State at Nevada.
Ugh.
Hey, that's a good game. Stay
No.
tuned. No, it's probably not going to be that great of a game. But, hey, it's football. So, just be glad that it's still happening, I guess, at this point.
Here's an interesting thought. The Knicks drafting or trading for those picks. Jake Weingarten of StockRisers.com just speculating here, but he said the Knicks should use both picks and move into the first 5 selections and pick maybe Auburn's Isaac Okoro. Tom Thibodeau has reportedly loved him throughout the process, and Okoro told him in 2018 that he's the best defender in the country. That's kind of what Thibodeau would love. So,
but what does Dolan think?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Are the Knicks really about to ruin Isaac? Oh no.
No, because he has Jared Harper too. So Jared Harper and Isaac Okoro will bring the Knicks to the promised land.
And then they trade for Bryce Brown in the G League. Is that what you're saying?
The 9th seed?
Hey. If they do that, if next year they're a 9th seed because they draft Isaac Okoro will be an MVP one day.
Oh, that'd be like 4 years.
I did forget.
Okay,
on the NBA side, the play-in scenario and how they're going to release the schedule. So the NBA is releasing the schedule in 2 parts. They're releasing the first part from December to, I believe, wherever All-Star break is at, which I think is in like March, I want to say, and then the second half from March to May, where the season ends. And then they did agree to a 1-year deal for the play-in games. So this is how the play-in games work. So if you are a 7 and 8 seed, you get to play a game. If you're a 9 and 10 seed, you also play a game. So if you're a 7 and 8 seed and you win, you advance into the playoffs. That 7-8 seed that loses plays the winner of the 9 and 10 seed that wins. So if you're the 8 seed and you lose to the 7 seed, you do get another chance to play into the playoffs by beating that 9-10 seed. So if you are the 9-10 seed, you got to win 2 games to get in. That's just kind of how that works. And that's for both conferences. That's a little bit better. So theoretically, you have 20 teams eligible for the playoffs for this year upcoming. So the Knicks, they can slide into that 10 seed. Don't count them out.
Uh-oh.
Watch out.
10 seed.
And some other news. I believe Chimo Okeke signed a 4-year, $15 million deal with the Magic. So good for him. Hopefully we get to see him soon in a Magic uniform. Back over to college football. I can't remember where I was at with college football. Oh yeah, it's a CBS game. It's going to be a game that nobody really cares about, at least on this side of the planet.
That's
But
gonna be fun. It's just
But-
disrespectful, Jared. You're disrespectful.
unless it's Texas State, I don't care. But I mean, that's pretty much all the college football news that I have is making fun of Will Muschamp, yada yada. That's pretty much all I got for them.
Muschamp needs to just go be a defensive coordinator at some place for like 5 years and just stay there. 'Cause he's clearly good at that. I don't know why I don't know why teams keep trying to make him the head coach. Like, it's not how that works.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen again anytime soon.
I mean, I hope not, but crazier
It's
things
not.
have happened.
No.
Charlie Weiss got hired at Kansas, so
Well,
crazy.
here's the thing. No one's getting fired. I don't think any. The coach has to be really freaking bad to
Well, I
get
mean,
fired this year.
I don't think it has to even be that. I think it really just has to be. I mean, what's stopping, say, the worst team in the MAC from hiring him?
Well,
Well,
like I said, I don't think anyone's
just so you know-
in a position. I don't think anyone's in a position to fire anyone this year.
The
Because
worst
of the
team
money.
in the MAC looks to be, oh yes, that's right, Bowling Green.
Yep, and Bowling Green actually is the worst defense, or one of the worst defenses in college football, because they're led by Brian Van Gorder, who was the defensive coordinator for Auburn in 2012. When they had
And
the worst defense.
guess who their head coach is?
Who's their head coach?
Scott Leffler, the offensive coordinator of Auburn in 2012.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they
No
double
way.
dipped.
No.
They double dipped.
Oh, there's a reason why that team's struggling.
That Auburn defense
Yeah.
was the worst in the history of Auburn University.
The offense was bad too. It was
No, I mean, I
to the
know.
last play.
but-
It took to the last play of the season for Auburn to get a 1,000-yard rusher.
So
Oh my god!
Bowling Green opened the season against Toledo, lost 38-3.
Why do both of those guys have jobs?
They played Kent State, lost 62-24, and then last night against Buffalo, lost 42-17.
Oh my!
The reason Leffler has a job is because he went to Boston College for 3 years, and Austin Dillon carried him to looking like a decent coordinator.
That makes
Fair.
sense. Well, he went 3-9 with Bowling Green last year. Now he's 0-3. Jeez. Oh my gosh, man.
Well, he has 3 more games to turn it around.
That's
So
crazy. I cannot believe. Oh my gosh, it's so funny because
They literally, their athletic director should just talk to Auburn fans and know what he was getting into.
it's funny. My dad always or told me that Van Gorder was at Bowling Green because right after he was at Auburn, he leaves Auburn in 2012 because he's awful, and then
It was
Notre
like Notre
Dame followed
Dame,
him for
yeah.
like 3 years, and it was so bad. And my dad has hated him ever since. And he texted me, he's like, "Oh, guess what? He's at Bowling Green, and they allowed 62 points to Kent State." Oh my gosh, man!
Which
That is-
Kent State also put up 69 points against Akron last night.
But Kent State might actually be good.
Dustin
Maybe.
Crum, Heisman contender. Watch out.
Oh,
is that the same dude that got votes last year?
No, that was the guy who didn't play.
The backup quarterback. I remember.
Yeah,
The
Dustin Crum played. Dustin Crum played against Auburn last year
Oh,
because
Poor
it was
soul.
a Woody Barrett game, but Woody Barrett didn't really play except for like 3 plays
that was sad.
or in garbage time.
But I was looking at the standings in college football, and I didn't realize kind of just how topsy-turvy these standings are right now. I mean, just taking a look at the Big 12, for example. I mean, look, I am the guy that pushes Iowa State to the limits. I did not realize how good a position they were in to win the Big 12.
yeah.
I
they're
mean,
The
undefeated,
Big
right?
12 is
Right now.
awful this year.
They had that one loss to Louisiana,
Oklahoma,
but-
and in conference loss to Oklahoma State.
but as long as they beat Texas on the road, I believe next week. I mean, they have a very winnable schedule and can easily finish in the top 2, which gives them championship berth for the Big 12.
The issue just is the fact that Oklahoma State is tied with them, and they're very likely going to end up getting Oklahoma State or maybe Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, which are
All
two
right.
matches that are not ideal
That's fine.
because they're both away from home. So
Look, they will bring Ames, Iowa with them for a Big 12 championship game. You
And
just
I
dig,
would travels for championships.
you dig up a little piece of dirt, you put it in a bag, and you bring it with you. That's how you do it.
I'm not sure if that's how that works.
Look, I remember when,
Why would you doubt? Why would you doubt the black hole of college football?
yeah.
Because it transferring over to Arlington, Texas doesn't seem very what's the word, sound. Very
Well,
possible.
is anything sound in college football this year?
What?
Is anything sound in college football this year?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, look at the Big Ten Conference. Now, if you want some conspiracies, I have one for you.
Oh no.
Indiana is going to try to get out of playing this game against Ohio State somehow.
Indiana's gonna try and what?
Get out of playing Ohio State this year.
I mean, possibly.
So
They are the way standings work. If you have more wins, then you get into Big Ten championship. I don't know how it's going to work this year. Whenever Indiana is undefeated, no, well, that can't happen. But whenever the game gets canceled and they're both undefeated,
because I mean, Ohio State has Indiana, Illinois, Michigan State, and Michigan left. So, in other words, a bunch of bums. While Indiana has Ohio State, Maryland, Wisconsin, Purdue left. Which, okay, two of those teams are top 10 teams. That's tough. But if, say, Indiana somehow got around playing Ohio State, and they're able to beat Wisconsin. So I'm not saying that somebody, once again, I think I said this like last week, but I'm really waiting for that crazy 2020 news story to come out where a head coach just purposely looked the other way while their team broke COVID protocols just so they knew they would get infected and had to play the game.
well, that was the room or this conspiracy for LSU and Alabama.
I mean, I wouldn't blame LSU either.
Because here's the thing, there's like no way they can play the game unless they reshuffle games, which I don't know why the SEC has not announced a plan for that yet.
Yeah. They're dragging their feet big time.
Because it's pretty simple if they want to play the game, and it's not like they have to. So it's simple either way. They say we're not playing the game, or we're moving LSU and Ole Miss or LSU and Arkansas to the day of the SEC championship.
So currently, right now, if the season ended right now because of a global catastrophe, that's not COVID apparently. It would be Indiana versus Northwestern for the Big Ten championship game.
Give it to me.
So if you want a battle of the nerds versus the Hoosier State, well, you got it.
I want 10-win Indiana. Let them win the national championship.
On top of that, just looking at the Mid-American, if anybody cares, Buffalo and Central Michigan are leading the way on that. The Pac-12, Oregon, Colorado, and obviously the SEC would be Alabama and Florida, barring any mistakes that happen along the way, i.e. somehow, some way, Auburn beats Alabama, and Alabama loses to LSU later in the year if they do play that game, and A&M winning out. It's the only way A&M gets in, pretty much. But watch out, because number 5 A&M is knocking on the door to the college football playoff, which I don't think anybody was going to say this year.
I don't want them to make the college football playoff.
I think it'll be funny.
It would be kind of funny.
I think
Even
it'll
though
be
we'd all
funny.
be wrong.
But like, I would much rather a team that actually deserves a chance. And because here's what's going to happen: Texas A&M is going to go in. They're going to be the 4th seed. They're going to play Alabama. And they're going to lose by 60, and then it's going to be over. So they don't stand a chance because Kellen Mond is not going to be able to beat Alabama. He hasn't yet.
Hey,
Won't.
don't you count out Kellen Mond.
I will count out Kellen Mond.
Alex, you're hating on Kellen Mond, and he's going to hear this one day. He's going to come for you.
I'm so scared.
Okay, Alex. I'll DM him right now and say this.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I mean, look, the fact that you had number 5 A&M, 7 Cincinnati, 8 BYU, and 9 Indiana, that is ripe for the picking of, we're going to have some cool teams hopefully try to make their way in. Unfortunately, I don't know how great those chances are.
I think we're only going to get one.
Yeah, you're going to get one of those.
I've already outlined a possibility.
Give it
If
to
Notre
me.
Dame beats Clemson
I
and
hope.
Auburn beats Texas A&M, Cincinnati will make it to the college football playoff.
Now, did you see the quote from Let me get it right quick, 'cause I was just on it not too long ago. Da 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 da. Here we go. So, come on, load. Here we go.
I'll be honest. I'd much rather have BYU than Cincinnati.
So,
Really?
Luke Fickle was asked about on his weekly radio show if there was a possibility that Cincinnati would schedule a game against BYU before the season ends, and the response was pretty much anything is possible.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So if Cincinnati is just like, hey, BYU, you just want to go play a game and just settle this like men on the field,
Yes.
there you go. So, and
I think they do it
honestly,
in Cincinnati, because Cincinnati Stadium is pretty cool.
look, I don't know the logistics behind it, because how logistically possible is it to schedule a game a month out from now? I don't know. But if we're being quite honest,
I mean, a month? That's very, very. That's how the beginning of the season was.
that is fair. But the best chances that either of these two teams have of making the playoffs is probably scheduling this game against each other.
Yeah.
So they may not have a chance. I mean, either way. Because these teams, let's be honest, don't play anybody else this year. So
Yeah, BYU destroyed Boise State. Boise State might not be good this year. I don't know. So
this is their best chance. So I say, look, it's a dangerous situation. You either win and you got a better chance of the playoffs, or you'll lose and that illustrious season gets a little bit tainted. But hey, you got to go for broke this year, because it's probably not going to happen again. So might as well.
Yeah.
So Cincinnati BYU, we'll see what happens with that. But as we're done with that, I assume we are ready for college football pick'em.
We gotta do it now.
Or when else are we gonna do it?
I don't know.
Let me go ahead and get this link for you guys. It's the same link. I don't know why I have to keep sending it, but here we go. All right, are you guys ready?
sure.
About as ready as I'll ever be. You know.
Just to give an updated standings, because they really are. I mean, when I say this is neck and neck, this is neck and neck. First place is Bay, tied with Davis at 62 and 37. No, I'm sorry, excuse me. First place
You
is
didn't
Alex.
fix it.
I didn't, because I'm too lazy to do this. Okay, if you want to fix it yourself.
No.
First place is Alex at 63 and 36. Second place is Davis and Bay at 62 and 37. I'm in third at 61 and 38. Jacob is in fourth at 59 and 40. And Jack's doing whatever Jack is doing. So, I mean, we're talking about 3 games separating everybody. Plus, we didn't do a full 10 games last week because 1 did get postponed. So, there's 11 on the docket this week.
Oof.
And, by the way, these games are not easy at all.
Oh God.
They are
I'm
not
already
easy.
looking at it.
Obviously, there's ranked matchups on there. And then after I'm done with ranked matchups, I kind of go to wherever the line is the lowest at, or the spread is the lowest. So, first one up is newly unranked SMU and the Houston Bearcats. We'll go in the order of Alex
Houston
Davis.
Cougars.
Did I say Bearcats?
Yes.
Well, they might as well change your name anyway. First we'll go Alex, Davis, myself, and then Jacob.
All
Alex,
right,
you're up
so
first.
That means me.
Yeah.
All
Is your
right,
name Alex?
I'm gonna take SMU in this one. They are coming off that loss, but Houston is just not very good this year. Dan Holgson has kind of blown up the program, and SMU is still a good team at 7-2. So I'm going SMU.
Davis?
I also took SMU.
I'm taking SMU as well. It's just I don't trust Houston. Jacob?
SMU, I don't really buy into that loss last week because I think Tulsa's a good team. So you'll get Houston. Their only win in the last 3 games is against a trash USF team. SMU, it's actually beaten teams. So SMU.
All right, here's one of the harder games to pick. LSU is on the road to Arkansas, and boy, is this game a make or break for a lot of people in the LSU program. Alex.
it's crazy because I saw the graphic that said last year like LSU was favored by 30 against Arkansas, and now Arkansas is favored by 1. I'm gonna go Arkansas with this one. I think LSU's still gonna be missing some players, if I'm not mistaken. Right? They still should be missing some guys from the COVID stuff. And again, they're just not a good team. And we saw their quarterback play without Miles Brennan against Auburn, and it wasn't good. And Arkansas is a decent team right now, so I'm gonna go Arkansas.
I also went Arkansas.
Man,
Don't tell me you picked LSU.
it's tough because Arkansas's going to be fired up for this game. They're a good team. It's just, it's hard for me to see LSU losing this game. Like, that's just, my mind, it's not firing in my mind that LSU could lose this game. That's tough. I'll take Arkansas because they're fired up about it. And I feel like they're really using that Auburn situation to their benefit of trying to get these other wins. So I'll take Arkansas, but I wouldn't be surprised if LSU won by 10 because of whatever stupid reason that ended up happening in that game.
I'm picking LSU. I didn't like the performance by Arkansas last week. I think they could have kept that Florida game close, but they didn't. So I'm going with LSU.
Number 7, Cincinnati and UCF. Now, Cincinnati, we talked about how they weren't really going to play anybody else. And UCF is not the same team they were years ago. But it's still a road game against a conference foe that, trap game has written all over it. Alex?
Yeah, it is a trap game. Cincinnati really getting into the tougher part of their schedule. They got 3 straight road games. One of these against UCF. Then they finished the season on prime time in Tulsa. Tulsa, Jacob, you mentioned them being a good team. Their only loss is to Oklahoma State at the beginning of the season. They're a pretty good team. UCF, Dylan Gabriel's actually been good this year. He had some struggles last year. And Marlon Williams is the best wide receiver in the country in terms of yards already. But Cincinnati's got national championship aspirations, so I got to go Cincinnati.
Let's go Cincy. I also took Cincy.
I
But
took
also go
Cincinnati
Marlon
as well.
Williams.
It's kind of crazy. ESPN's FPI has UCF at a 56.4% chance to win.
They are at home, and they rarely ever lose at home. So
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm still going to go with Cincinnati, though.
I remember when UCF went 0-12 and that lonely fan sat in the stands. I didn't forget.
Oof. Those were the years when UCF was just awful.
yeah.
Let's see, what is this?
Here, who'd you pick?
Cincinnati. And I was looking at something that Auburn basketball sent about a guard they just signed, or a player they just signed. But number 20 USC versus Utah. This is another road game for the Trojans that has survived the last 2 games, but will it survive against this Utes team? Alex?
This is a tough one. I gotta go USC on this one. They found some ways to win. I made a lot of comments about Clay Helton, but this team is clearly fighting for his position on that team because I think he couldn't have survived any more bad seasons. I gotta go USC with this one, and hopefully I'm right.
Davis?
I also took USC.
I picked against USC twice already, and I got burned both times, so I don't think I can do it again. I'll take USC on the road.
Utah has had both their games postponed this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know anything about Utah, and
They're from the
Slovis
state
is
of
good.
Utah.
Yeah, I know that, but that's the extent I know, and that's not a positive thing in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going with USC.
Here's a game. Number 21 Liberty against NC State. Alex?
This is a dangerous one, man. I gotta go Liberty. They're a red hot team, and Malik Willis had the best game of the season for him last week. And NC State's a good team. They're a Power 5 team, but Liberty, again, they've got Coastal Carolina, right in front of them, and I think they're gonna blow past everybody to get to that game. So Liberty.
Davis?
Alex and I are picking the same so far. I'm also taking Liberty.
All right. Liberty is a bunch of pretenders. I hate to say it.
Yo.
Really? What?
They're not pretenders. They're a decent team, but Paul, they ain't played nobody. Their
than
best
they
their,
have.
their best win is Virginia Tech. That's it. That ain't somebody. That's Virginia Tech. A Virginia Tech team that we argued on this show was missing half of their players. And they won on Legatron coming out of retirement and kicking a field goal for Liberty. Is what happened. NC State's a good team, and I think it's a road game for Liberty. I think NC State gets them.
Yeah, I think NC State has a good chance of this, and to make up ground in the standings, I'm picking NC State as well.
Here we go. It's a monster rivalry
Bedlam.
game. Here's one. It's Bedlam. Number 14, Oklahoma State, goes on the road to number 18, Oklahoma.
This one's impossible.
It is.
Think about it this way. Who needs this game the most?
Oklahoma needs this game the most.
That means whoever needs it the most is going to lose. Because that's how the Big 12 works.
That is the law of the Big 12. I mean, because when Oklahoma's been bad, they've been awful. Like, really awful. When they've been good, they've been the Oklahoma that we know when they scored 1 million on Texas. Right?
Who did Oklahoma State play last week?
I'm trying to
Kansas
look.
State, and they won 20-18.
My CBS Sports app having a whole problem right now, so I can't even see.
Like, I'll let Alex go. I'll let Alex and Davis go before I say my piece about this game.
I got to go Oklahoma.
I'm going to Oklahoma State. I don't trust Oklahoma or Rattler.
I don't trust anybody in this game, but
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's been playing it too fast and too close the last couple of games for me to think that they're going to go on the road and get a big win. So I'll take Oklahoma in a very Big 12-esque game. When I say Big 12, either we're going to have almost 1,000 yards total, or we're going to have about a total of 8 turnovers. But something's going to happen.
Oklahoma has been red hot as of late. They started the season really poorly, but since that win against Texas, they've really been on. And Oklahoma State has been inching by. So
I'm picking Oklahoma State. Their defense is too good.
Number 10, Wisconsin, travels to take on the Nerds at number 19, Northwestern.
So
Alex.
is Wisconsin getting their quarterback back?
I think he is back.
He played last week.
Oh, right. Their whole thing is so, up and down. I can't even remember what's been happening with them. Yeah, I'm going to go Wisconsin. I think Pat Fitzgerald has taken Northwestern to a place they didn't think they could be, but this is about as far as they can go. I really think that they don't stand a chance against a Wisconsin team that's just stronger than them.
Davis?
I concur with Alex on that one.
I do as well. Northwestern, while they've been playing good, I mean, their best win is against, was it Maryland that they won massively by? Was that the 44-3 game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only good game they got. Other than that, I don't think they can take Wisconsin.
Graham Mertz is the GOAT. Wisconsin.
App State travels to Coastal Carolina. So Coastal Carolina has their kind of own situation to deal with. I know App State's not probably at the level that they usually are at, but they're still a good team that has to travel to take on Coastal Carolina.
App State is 6-1 this year. Their only loss being to undefeated Marshall by 10. That game was at Marshall. But again, Coastal Carolina, they got bigger things on their plate, bigger things on their mind that I just think, they're a driven team, and I think they're going to win this game.
Davis,
I also took Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina. Jacob?
Coastal.
And what in my mind is the 2018 grudge match rematch. Tennessee travels to Jordan Hare to take on Auburn. And golly, I just got flashbacks just mentioning 2018.
Oh God!
Is Garantano the starter again?
Yes.
They got like three
Do we know?
quarterbacks.
I don't think we know yet.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I feel that. Hoodie's on. Rest in peace. Here we go. Tennessee, Auburn.
Let's preface this with this very important point. Team to team, Auburn should win this game. There's no question about it.
Alex, why'd you open up with that? What are you about to do?
What?
Why'd you open up with that? What are you about to do?
No, I'm picking Auburn, but I want to let everybody know that I'm picking Auburn because they should, in fact, win. They are better in every single facet versus Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee has probably the better fight song. I'm not gonna lie.
Rocky Top is pretty cool.
And that's about it.
And, I mean, nobody wears a mask better than Jeremy Pruitt. That is also, he gets major points for that one. But got to pick Auburn on this one. They should not win this game. Or they should not lose this game, I mean.
Oh no, he
Excuse me.
said it.
My bad. I'm picking
Oh,
Auburn,
no.
though.
Davis.
I'm also picking Auburn.
I'm going Auburn as well. I forgot we have to give a score as well. I forgot about that. Jacob, you picking Auburn?
Auburn.
All right.
And it's going to be ugly. We're getting revenge.
I hope you're
Are we
right.
talking about like revenge ugly or like Arkansas revenge ugly? Those are two different Auburn uglies.
Like, revenge ugly.
Like us against LSU.
Wait, are Hood supposed to be on right now?
I said Hood's on.
Sorry.
Davis, you late to the party, dude?
Alex.
All right, and if I'm the first to give my score, I will. I'll go 38-13 Auburn.
I will go 42-17 Auburn.
That's good.
34-20 Auburn.
Oof.
56-10 Auburn.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's
Jacob!
Oh, there we go.
That's an Auburn win I want to see.
I mean, yeah, I'll be happy with that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
A
I want
makeup
my revenge.
a makeup game from last week. We got to get one in. So I decided to pick a game that I think we can all laugh at. Michigan on the road against Rutgers. They're both 1-3.
Rutgers.
The fact is,
I'm
I
going
almost
first.
wanna
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
But I'm going Rutgers, yeah. Michigan's a sinking ship that's on fire.
Doesn't make sense how
Ooh,
someone
but
would put it out.
Rutgers just lost to Illinois.
Oh, wait a minute. Rutgers is 1-3. Hold up.
Yeah,
Rutgers
did you not hear me?
Rutgers is trash, just like Michigan. But I'm still picking Rutgers.
I am too.
One of
I
those
was doing some
teams.
research.
One of those teams is trash, but they got 5-star players. I don't know if that means anything at this point.
But one of those teams, hey, Jared, one of those teams beat Michigan State and the other did not. So,
Oh yeah, Michigan did lose to Michigan State, didn't they?
yeah.
That-
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But Rutgers lost to Illinois, so what's worse out of that situation?
And Illinois did lose to Minnesota 41-14. Oh no.
Well, look at Rutgers. Look at Rutgers' game against Indiana, 16 points. Look at Rutgers' game against Ohio State, only 22 points. Michigan lost to Wisconsin by 38. Michigan lost to Indiana by 17.
Yeah, I mean it.
I just can't get over that they lost to Black Santa and Lovie Smith. That's my thing.
Hey, Illinois, they're trying to build something there. I'm gonna give them points for that. But
I like how a lot of you brothers say that they were okay, and then you look at the record and like, okay, maybe I need to back off.
I knew
on
they
that.
weren't okay. But I mean, they've had their moments. You know, the Wisconsin upset like last year, 2 years ago.
That is true.
Dang. Now I want to. Michigan's also favored by 10.
It's a tough game. That's why I threw it on there.
If we're all wrong, we're at least wrong together.
I don't know. It's a road game too.
Yes, wait, Jacob, did you already pick?
Yes.
He was the first
Rutgers.
one to go. He jumped the gun.
You picked Rutgers. Davis?
Already picked Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Rutgers. Why not?
You should go Michigan, Alex. Change it up.
No, because like they're so ice cold. There's no way they're gonna win a game after losing like they did against Wisconsin.
You know what? I can't shake the fact that Rutgers lost to Illinois. I really can't. I'll go Michigan.
Yo.
I can't shake it. And finally, the extra point game of the week. Number 9, hopefully, currently, Indiana, soon to be Windiana, taking on number 3, Ohio State. That game is at Ohio State. Alex?
I love Indiana, but 2 years from now, maybe, but not right now. Ohio State's too good. Indiana they don't have the talent to beat this team. Not at Ohio State.
By the way, this is big noon kickoff. I want you guys to know this game's at noon.
It's gonna be a good game.
I also took the Buckeyes. I went back and forth a lot, but I ended up Ohio State.
I took Ohio State as well. I mean, I love Indiana, but I can't pull the trigger on it. They don't have any mystical voodoo around them like Iowa State does.
Jacob?
He's thinking.
He's
Or is he
thinking.
frozen?
This is so difficult.
Yep.
It's tough because you know what picking against Indiana does. It pretty much knocks them out the Big Ten championship.
But Ohio State also always has the game.
It's true. Does Ohio State play Purdue this year?
Good
I'm gonna check
question.
the schedule right now. Actually, not you.
Check Ohio State's schedule. That's the only way you can find out.
I'm going to
Do
look.
they play? Do they play
Let's see.
Iowa?
I'm looking.
They don't play either
right,
Iowa or
um,
Purdue.
Or are they going to lose to Illinois?
They go on the road to Illinois, on the road to Michigan
You know,
State, and stay at home against
that-
Michigan.
That would make sense, Jared. We're telling them that. I cannot believe Rutgers lost to Illinois, and Illinois goes and beats Ohio State.
That would complete the circle for me.
Well,
That's usually how it
because
goes.
Indiana is doing it this week. 10-win Indiana.
Are you picking Indiana? Is that a
upset.
thing? Did you just lock that
I'm
in?
picking Indiana. I'm picking Indiana.
All right. Well,
I believe in them.
Yo!
There we go, Jacob. There we go.
all right. Well, that does it for college football pick'em. We'll see what happens. I don't like Indiana's chances. By the way, Indiana is a 20.5 point underdog, so they got that going for them. Oh man, on to the NFL and NFL pick'em. NFL pick'em standings. This is all in order because I didn't have to move it any. Bay marks, or I should say, this is not updated. There's still one game outstanding, and that is Monday Night Football. But Bay marks at 99-45, Davis and I at 94-50, Alex at 93-51, Jacob at 85-61, and Jack doing whatever Jack's doing. So here we go for this week. The Cardinals, obviously, after their dramatic win against the Bills, a reminder that DeAndre Hopkins, they traded a second-round pick for him, are taking on the Seahawks, who have been reeling lately after Wilson has been a little bit of a turnover machine. We'll go... I'll go first, and then Davis, Alex, and then Jacob. In this game, man, the Cardinals really proved to me that they can go punch for punch with anybody, and the Seahawks have proved to me that they can play down to anybody. So in that kind of situation, do the Seahawks rebound? Yes, I'll take the Seahawks. I think when it's this close of a game, at some point you just gotta believe that Russell Wilson's gonna come through, and I think he will. I think he's putting a lot of it on himself, on his shoulders, and he's gonna try to correct it this week. Davis.
I'm going to take the Cardinals.
That's fair. Alex?
I'm gonna go Cardinals as well. They did already beat the Seahawks earlier this year, and they're a red hot team. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are anything but right now. So I can't confidently pick the Seahawks. I'm going Cardinals.
Jacob?
I think they're riding too much of a high right now off that Hail Mary. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks. And I think that they're desperate for a bounce back, and they'll get it.
Also think that DK Metcalf is upset that he had, under 30 yards last week. So he'll definitely... All right. Okay.
Alex, just cackle? What was that?
That was scary. That was very scary.
he called DK Metcalf trash. So first of all, it's a bad take. And then
That
he
is a bad
cackled.
take.
Then
Don't
he
get me
cackled.
started on that again, Alex.
It's a terrible take, and Alex, I'd love to see you tell him that to his face.
Oh, absolutely. Let's be clear. I don't actually think that, but that was just a callback to previous debates.
Hey, Jacob, who's better, Terry McLaurin or DK Metcalf?
Not this again. I gotta leave at 9:30. So
That's really tough.
thank you for the sarcasm, Jacob.
Alex was wholeheartedly defending.
Let's not get into that debate again.
It's close. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a complete.
Oh, we weren't either, but we were saying we were even going to say the NFL was starting to try to go after DK Metcalf more. Alex took offense to that.
That's not.
But I mean, if you ask me if I want DK Metcalf or Terry McLaurin, I'm not hesitating.
Thank
DK
you.
Metcalf.
Okay. Up next, Packers and Colts. Just so you know, it is Packers hate week for me. So, Bay Marks, I'm calling you out. Your team's going to lose. I'm picking the Colts.
Ugh.
It's true.
I mean, yes, you did pick them, but I don't know, man.
Number one defense in the NFL, the Packers could
The
barely
Colts are
beat
2-point favorites.
the Colts. I mean, the Packers could barely beat the Jaguars. Don't remind me of week one. I don't care about week one anymore. It's a different Colts team. Give me the Colts. They're at home too.
Yeah, the Packers could barely beat the Jags. The Colts haven't beaten the Jags this year. That's right, Jared.
Hey, but we got a second chance though. Davis,
I'm taking the Packers.
Alex,
Packers.
Jacob.
Colts, I'm thinking the MVPs are going to be having bad weeks. So last week it was Russell Wilson. This week, Aaron Rodgers. Next week it'll be Mahomes or someone else.
The Eagles, after the loss to the Giants, take on Baker Mayfield and those Browns. Nick Chubb may run out of bounds again, but who knows? I'll take the Browns at home. I mean, it's the NFC East, so it's a good bet. Davis?
I think the Browns are going to win this one.
Alex?
Yeah, I go to the Browns. The Eagles are too bad.
Jacob?
Browns.
All right. We got 3 more minutes. Here we go. Falcons, Saints. It's Jameis Winston's time to shine. He'll lose to the Falcons at home.
Ooh.
Davis?
I'm taking the Falcons.
Alex?
Jameis is not doing it, brother. I'm sorry.
I mean,
He can throw it farther than Drew Brees, but he is not winning.
the Falcons are the best team in the league with a 3-6 record by far. I think that's without question. But the Saints are the Saints.
What a
and
low bar.
Can't go against them.
I'm picking the Falcons because they're going to find a way to move out of the top 10 in the draft.
That would be a Falcons thing to do. That's fair. The Bengals are taking on the Washington football team. Oh man. Well, I'll give this. Washington really did try to come back against the Lions.
Alex Smith is comeback player of the year, but you know.
He did play well. I'll take Washington in this game. Davis?
I'm taking the Bengals. Let's go, Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Alex?
Jared, the only option is the Bengals. Washington just doesn't win games.
Joe
now.
Burrow.
So,
I'm taking Washington. I believe in Alex Smith until he's back in the quarterback graveyard.
I don't even believe in it.
No, well, just don't buy his jersey. Lions taking on the Panthers. That game is in Carolina. Is Teddy Bridgewater back? Is that a thing? Is he playing? Is he good?
Kinda, I think.
Did he
The
not
whole-
play
Yeah,
last
yeah,
week?
hurt
At the end of
last
the
week.
game.
Oh. I didn't
Well-
even know that.
Well, I'll say this. I'll take the Panthers no matter who's at quarterback. You can throw Jimmy Clausen back out there. Give me the
No.
Panthers. Davis.
Whoa.
Stop. Look, I think the Panthers like to play down to their opponent. They also like to play up to their opponents. But since we're at home, I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Alex.
Yeah, Panthers.
The Panthers have finally realized their main objective this year, and that's to tank Lions.
Steelers.
Wow.
Jaguars. The Steelers 9-0.
Time.
Here we go. Steelers
Right
9-0. Jaguars 1-8. Davis.
Steelers
Steelers.
10-0.
Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers.
Titans Ravens.
Ravens.
Titans.
Ravens. I'll take Ravens.
Boo.
Titans.
The Ravens, Lamar Jackson forgot how to play football.
The Titans have the worst defense in the NFL.
They have Derrick Henry. It's all that matters.
Patriots Texans. Cam Newton versus Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Patriots.
This game's ugly.
I'm taking Patriots.
Patriots.
Davis.
I also took Patriots, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans pull it out because the Patriots are kind of bums.
The Dolphins are going for 7-3 to take on the Broncos, who we don't even know who their quarterback is right now. Fins up. Fins up. Dolphins. Dolphins.
2 a time.
The Jets are looking for their first win to take on Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Hey, this is when it's gonna happen.
It would be. If the Chargers blow a lead to the Jets, I'm done with the NFL. But I'm taking the Chargers. Chargers. All around Chargers.
Chargers.
You know what? Jets.
Whoa!
Alrighty then.
Jacobs
Cowboys.
realized he'll take goal, pick 'em, and that's to tank. My goodness.
Cowboys at the Vikings. Andy Dalton's on track to play this game.
Skull.
Yeah, I'm taking
Still the
Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah, I'm still taking the
Yeah.
Vikings.
I'm about to say the Cowboys are not stopping Dalvin Cook.
Rematch for Sunday Night Football, or rematch on Sunday Night Football. Remember when the Raiders beat the Chiefs for the only loss of the season, and then they drove around the stadium cheering? Yeah, the Chiefs did not forget, and the Chiefs will be in Las Vegas looking to roll the dice on this game. I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm also taking the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Is that even a question? It's Chiefs.
I mean, we are talking about the same Raiders team that did beat them, so I guess that is a question. And finally, the Rams travel to take on the Buccaneers. That game is in Tampa.
The Rams are frauds.
The Rams have played decently well the last couple of weeks.
And the Rams are frauds.
Fair
I
enough.
chose the Rams.
Bucks by 14.
Whoa.
Well, the last time I picked the Bucks. Well, no, I picked the Bucks last week. I'll take the Buccaneers as well. Hey,
Did
did
everybody
everybody pick the
choose?
Bucks?
I said
Alex?
I said Bucks already picked.
Oh,
I said
I-
Rams. I'm going Rams.
Well, that does it for the show today. So thank you for joining us on the show. If you want to catch more, make sure you go to Spotify and iTunes and search The Extra Point. It should be a fun one this week with everything that's going on. Make sure you stay tuned for the NBA draft. Hopefully Okoro goes somewhere that doesn't ruin his career right out the jump. So there's that. So don't go to the Knicks. So for Davis Carroll, Alex Houston, and Jacob Hillman, I'm Jared Dillon saying thank you so much for joining us on The Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and WEGLFM.com.